And we shouldn't forget the poignancy for Manchester City either. Matt Busby, a City player for 7 years. Their greatest of great goalkeepers, Frank Swift, had become a journalist for the News of the World, and he was one of the 23 who died. And amidst this very special atmosphere, there is a very important game. The Manchester United team, let's look at that, today wearing numbers 1 to 11, as their predecessors would have done 50 years ago. No Rooney today because of suspension, no Evra either for the same reason. Nani comes in on the right side of midfield. 27-goal Ronaldo plays as a striker alongside Carlos Tevez. City also hit by suspensions, depriving them of Elano and Chorluka. They'll play with 5 across the midfield. Vassell and Petrov occupying the wide positions, and there's a debut up front for Benjani, the Zimbabwean, whose signing from Portsmouth involved missed flights, too much sleep, a knee problem, a reduced fee, and many machinations along the way. So Old Trafford just about set for the 149th meeting of Manchester United and Manchester City on this, the most special and poignant of days. Alongside me appropriately for our co-commentary, David Pleats, who was a teenager at the time of the Munich air disaster. And David, you have very personal memories of that time.
Well, everyone was shocked and saddened, and they were the heroes of young boys of 12, 13, 14 who were just beginning to watch and play this great game of football. And I was at Old Trafford as a Forest supporter on the first league match on the Saturday after they beat Sheffield Wednesday 3-0. They had a service on the pitch, and the Forest players at the time, beaten 2-0 on the day, said it was the most difficult game they'd ever played in. Their legs almost froze as they were taken over by the euphoria and the feeling of the United team on that day. It was almost as though they wanted United to beat them. And the legend, of course, of United was born from that period.
And in terms of the game we're about to watch, does it have a bearing on how the two teams will feel going into this?
I don't think so. I think the first few minutes you'll see a vigorous attempt by both sides to gain possession of the ball and begin to take the game to the opposition. I think it's going to be a difficult game for City, but they do have this 5-man midfield and the speedy, dangerous Petrov on the left. If they can get him enough of the ball and he can get behind Wes Brown, who had a little shaky time for England against Switzerland in the week, then City might have a pressure point to put on United. And of course United missing the charismatic Rooney today. So, close game.
Scholes header. Michael ball for City. Given away by Harman. Tevez was waiting. Harman tidies up. Rumbustious start.
I think Brown has to show early on that he's not going to allow Petrov any room. Of course, the closer you get to Petrov, the more likely it is to knock it off and try and run behind you, so you've got to be very careful on the turn. There we see Petrov getting that ball, Brown going in, does get the ball after he got the man.
Brown, a genuine Mancunian, born not far from here in Longsight. Up goes Anderson, and the clearance by Dunn. Vidic. Scholes.
United playing with two attacking-minded midfield players today. Scholes will probably be more of the sitter than Anderson, but both Carrick and Hargreaves left out of today's starting lineup, which is very, very interesting. Very rare that Sir Alex doesn't start with either one of those two.
Time since City last won on this ground, 1974. Dennis Law's legendary back heel against his old club that sent United into the second division. And having won at the City of Manchester Stadium earlier in the season. Worth pointing out that City have the chance to do the double over United for the first time since 1970. Here's Tevez. Took two to stop him.
His work rate is incalculable for United, is Tevez. If he ever loses, might have had a pen there, but I've seen Richards do that before. His bravery knows no bounds. Just signed a new contract this week. I'm sure he'll be delighted with that, and shows his colours for the next few years.
Talking of colours, we have the traditional red and the light blue. We don't have sponsors' logos on the shirts. Manchester United's case, they are direct replicas of those worn in 1958. And the Manchester derby, second time that Sven-Göran Eriksson has experienced it, but his first visit to Old Trafford in this role. But it's a fixture that, whilst it more often than not has gone United's way, certainly in Alec Ferguson's time at the club, there have been some spectacular City wins. Their mention of the 5-1 City victory at Main Road, their former home, still brings pain to the face of the Manchester United manager. That was the thick end of 20 years ago. Here's Scholes.
Good example of City's barrier there, their four-men defence and their five-man midfield.
Wes Brown on the charge. Richard Dunn's header. Scholes. Forward by Giggs. Ireland trying to pick out Petrov. Ferdinand across quickly.
Pattern, perhaps as we expected, United beginning to monopolise the ball, which they can do in deep territory, certainly. They can build their attacks when the opposition only has one major front man. And it is a tactic that Eriksson regularly employs. He doesn't hustle the ball and then he waits to try and intercept, and once they intercept and win the ball, then they go quickly to support their front man. And of course, Manchester today lacking Evra, a natural left-sided left-back who gets forward and supports well. It'll be far more difficult for O'Shea in that position, who plays with both feet, but it's very much a right-footed player.
Nani releasing Tevez. Here's Ryan Giggs.
Difficult angle, good position of Giggs. And the ball's crossed from the right-hand side. You always want your wide player on the other side to be tracking into that box to get into a goal-scoring position. I thought Onua may have come towards him to try and challenge him. As it was, it left it to
Ronaldo. Swept on by Anderson. And it came off Nani, and Giggs was offside. Trevor Massey, a replacement with the flag today, was to be Phil Sharp, but he's been taken off this game after the disallowing of Everton's goal in inverted commas last weekend, where Andy Johnson was adjudged to be offside wrongly.
My own experience of Phil Sharp is that he's excellent. If he made a mistake last week, it was a very, very rare one.
An age of accountability, though, they say, David.
Yes, we've got to be careful what we say, because if we get anything wrong, John, I will be on to you, or you'll be on to me.
20 minutes in, a dearth of clear-cut chances, but a game being played in a good spirit.
I think City will be happier, quite solid. Dunn and Richards, of course, form a formidable barrier at centre-back. As usual with City, I would suggest that if they can get Petrov enough ball and get him making progress, not score a goal for love or money, was belittled by the crowd, but he's come through that, and I'm sure his mind's been going at 100 miles an hour recently. We see a bit of a head clash done. The communication required by the second defender coming in. Just go back to Benjani, Vassell there, who's playing wide right today, probably speaking about when the play's on the left, joining in more, joining in with his front striker, with controversy. All sorts of talk about different agents being represented at the meeting. There's Kenny Morgans, one of the survivors of the terrible tragedy all those years ago. An outside right, a young outside right, reserve outside right to Johnny Berry, who passed away in that crash. What memories he must have.
Like a number of the players who did survive, never quite the same footballer again. Goals finding Anderson. The Manchester United, who have won 9 of their last 11 games in the Barclays Premier League. They've only lost 3 times in league competition this season, but one of those defeats was at Manchester City back in August to a goal by Giovanni.
And of course it's a strange weekend where the teams in the highest part of the Barclays Premiership are playing late in the weekend side.
And who will be cheering that goal as loudly as the Manchester City fans? Those of Arsenal, as Hart gathers at the near post.
Big game for Joe Hart. The more games he plays for City, the more he'll come into contention for Mr. Capello's viewing, as England seek what appears to be a new goalkeeper.
That's a problem. As there are only 5 English qualified goalkeepers in the Premier League, as Dunn and Hart get in a bit of a muddle, and it cost them a corner.
Yeah, Dunn did the safe thing. He wasn't sure of Hart's position. I think it was Giggs that played the ball through. Tevez, an irritant at all times, chasing the ball.
Nani's cross drifted out of play. It'll be a goal kick.
Dunn would have seen Hart coming late and being uncertain, so he just guided it away, and then you saw there was no gesturing between the two. It was calmness. It was a captain. Okay, made a mistake. Now you see 2 calm players. Good sign. Terrific break that by City. And then I think were United possibly slow to react when Vassell was coming onto it? Maybe. It's 4 United situations. City must not sit too deep. The times we've said that, John, in commentaries. I think the onus is on him on that wide touchline.
And Darius Vassell scoring here today, joining an exclusive club of those visiting players who managed to score in the Premier League here this season. It's only 4 of them. Vassell joining Ali Adier of Middlesbrough, Steve Howard, then of Derby, now of Leicester, and Tim Cahill of Everton. And the lead protected by Joe Hart's save from Carlos Tevez. Spectacular shot.
There's who had a problem with the goalkeeping. Jasper Schmeichel never looked that convincing, and yet did very, very well at the start of the season. Shrewd decision by the manager. He then gave Isaacson a very brief opportunity to show his spurs. He settled for Hart, and it's easy for us to say now as pundits, but no question in my mind before he selected Hart that he was the best choice.
Well, there were many, many discussions also involving Eric Steele, the experienced goalkeeping coach at Manchester City. Hart putting the ball out of play because the goal scorer is struggling. Darius Vassell, who for long phases of his career has defined the phrase unfulfilled potential. That was how he injured himself.
Just stretched a knee ligament. Here we see Tevez so alert to hit that ball on the half turn. Just had an idea where the goal was and went for the shot. Fine save, perfectly positioned, reasonable height, didn't have to move his feet too far across his goal.
A recruit from English football's lower divisions. He came from Shrewsbury Town. Joe Hart. Vassell has been treated by Ali Beatty, former Tottenham physio. Benjani losing out to Vidic, who took one on the nose. Vassell is back with us. His goal, 24 minutes in, separating these Mancunian rivals.
City once again making no attempt to win it too early in the middle third. Quite happy to make their first attempts to win it just over the halfway line. Players marked, little space. Wonderful scene today, everyone with their scarves. Beautiful day, fantastic playing surface, no wind, absolutely perfect for football.
And David, the footballers looking like footballers rather than billboards.
Yes, of course, a hallmark of United, as well as the white shorts that they played in. The black was a part of the tradition.
The old United review.
It's a dipper ball.
Big games keep on coming for Manchester United after this. FA Cup tie here against Arsenal at the end of the week. And then back to the Champions League and a trip to Lyon.
Yes, that will be not easy at this moment in time. Lyon ahead in the French league, of course.
Again.
Alan Perrin, of course, who was briefly the manager of Portsmouth, leading them to much success at Lyon, just like the previous men, Mr. Houllier, and before that as well.
Paul Le Guen.
Closed there by Anua. I just felt at the last he just shied away. Great chance for Ronaldo, that, by his standards.
In by Giggs. Rio Ferdinand. And poked wide. Tevez appealing for a corner, it's not been given.
But it doesn't look as though United are going to get clean chances. They're going to maybe have to scramble a goal through weight of bodies. There's another one where I just feel that as the ball came down, Ferdinand wasn't closed quick enough. City must close the ball quickly anyway.
And Scholes having a swing. He says corner, referee decisively says goal kick.
Well, I think it came off the boot simultaneously, so what do we do with that one, John? We should give the corner, shouldn't we? I think it's a corner. I think Scholes has a point. He just has to be a little bit careful with his annoyance with the official.
Well, this has been a barren land for Manchester City. Old Trafford since 1974, 23 visits, 11 draws, 12 defeats, some of them painful. But here they lead through Darius Vassell's fourth goal of the season after 24 minutes. Given away casually by Ferdinand, and Ireland has found Benjani. Waits for support, it comes from Petrov. And Van der Sar parries the ball away. Gelson was very, very close to converting. Van der Sar's taken a knock in the process.
Johnny doing well, feeding Petrov. Super ball. I think he just got caught, Van der Sar, but he's fine. Just edged it away from Gelson.
It's the right hand or wrist that's causing the anguish for Edwin van der Sar. There's Kuszak, the Pole, who's the number 2 goalkeeper here at the moment, with Ben Foster still out injured. Petrov with this.
So,
saw a referee's assistant to the game yesterday wearing a cap because of the strength of the sun.
Well, I was watching a game yesterday, John. I was wearing glasses, black ones.
anonymity. Again, Petrov, Benjani at the near post.
Lovely weather for 2 or 3 days.
As Brown's was the final touch, it's another corner. Richards already his colours, and already, despite the reaction of those in red and white in the background, assured of a place in the annals of City history. To score on your debut in the derby at Old Trafford, it doesn't get better than that if you wear the blue of Manchester City.
This is where United have to keep cool, they have to keep calm. This is where Sir Alex, for once, sees his team at half-time trailing by 2 goals. It's the first time for a very long time that's happened. I remember well Tottenham Hotspur leading Manchester United 3-0 at Tottenham Hotspur, and United were wonderful in the second half and won 5-3. It's not too late. I also remember City, Manchester City, losing 3-0 at Tottenham and winning 4-3. But we don't talk about that game.
We won't discuss who the manager was in that case. Now Giggs has gone down and Manchester United have a free kick. Again, it's Harman. It's the first time that City have scored twice in a league game at Old Trafford in 22 years. Giggs looking for Ronaldo. It's not working for United right now. Giggs. Scholes, opportunity. Couldn't get the shot away. It's the pass instead. Brown. 5 waiting, didn't beat the first man.
And of course, always the danger of that man's speed. The outside left, Petrov, the Bulgarian, scored in the week for his country. Absolutely vital for City. They don't sit too deep in this half. They'll have the opportunity to counter-attack as United push forward.
Harman doesn't score many goals. This was only a half chance. He's been shackled reasonably effectively so far.
I think Dunn particularly, and Richards, doing a splendid job at the centre of their defence. Next 15 minutes will be absolutely vital for City. They must hold on.
Long leg of Richards snaking out to concede the corner.
Hesitation by City there, because if it was Nani, could have been in a offside position.
Ryan Giggs came off Benjani. That was a Nuaha.
Although almost put Vidic in. Head of steam for United now.
Steam for a team that, should they lose today, risks being 5 points behind Arsenal. Come tomorrow evening, Arsenal at home to Blackburn in the final fixture of this round of Barclays Premier League games.
To feel the tension slightly. As United are making a couple of inaccurate passes deep into City territory.
Ferdinand. Anderson's ball in. Blocked, Scholes has a go, and Tevez challenging, chance to pull one back, but the flag is raised by Darren Can.
I think Tevez had an idea here. When you see when the ball spirals, Tevez clearly offside, no doubt about it.
21 goals between them this season, Tevez and Ronaldo. Nothing for them as yet today.
Ineffective so far on the left, Nani. And might suggest he's not getting a supply of the ball, but not really getting into the game. Now coming over onto the right. Giggs has gone central briefly. I think you will see now a little bit of rotation of the forward players. Or Vassell, sorry.
Park. Scholes. Goals that separate these teams scored by Vassell and Benjani in the first half. John O'Shea.
Wanted a left foot cross and wasn't confident enough to produce it. Remember, in the last game United, they struggled a little bit at Tottenham. They were very fortunate to get a point.
It's in the nature of a Manchester City fan that you are long-suffering. Prizes that seem certain to be yours are snatched away from you at the last. Of course, they've been down in the third tier of English football not so long ago.
And of course, at a couple of stages this season, I do think they were they not in front of United at any stage, John, in the league?
Very early in the season, yes. Here's Park. And Giggs!
Frustrating. Dunn just holding Park up, but well laid off by the Korean. Just needed a touch. Scholes and Tevez probably.
Confirmation in the background of that attendance. The biggest Premier League crowd of the season anywhere. 30 short of 76,000. Outside. Darren Can. 3,000 City fans out singing 73,000 United supporters at the moment.
Vidic winning that header easy against Caicedo. Have to say, Onoa at right back has also had a very good game for City today. I know he's attracted the interest of one or two other Premier League teams near the deadline, but he's still at Manchester City. But maybe someone will be sacrificed if the team continues to promote itself in such a good fashion, and they have to sell to buy, or maybe they'll just keep buying.
Well, if they win today, they'll be back into the top six. They'd go up 2 places above Portsmouth and Liverpool, who are still to play later today.
Yes, I think it's Liverpool that are fighting the tide at the moment with the movement of Villa, positive movement of Portsmouth.
And the sustained movement of Everton.
Absolutely, it is becoming what we all hoped would become 2 or 3 years ago, more competitive at the top. It's not just the big four, it's a little group now challenging for one of those 4 positions.
There's any one of 3 for the title, any one of perhaps 6 teams for 4th place, the final Champions League position.
Awful wasted ball there. I think it was the goal scorer, Vassell.
Manchester United free kick.
Vassell, sorry John, Vassell did well to recover.
Like the spark, Manchester United today. They're going to find ignition. It's going to have to be pretty late. Down goes Onuaha in stages. It is a corner.
How often do we see goals scored from disputed corners? And the manager stands there after in the press conference reflecting that it shouldn't have been a corner in the first place, but Here's another dispute. He's given a goal kick. Well, it'll be a minor miracle now if they can pull this one back. That's the goal kick that he's given. Came off Scholes, not done.